The Roman Catholic Diocese of Columbus has created a task force to examine its policies regarding the sexual abuse of minors by priests. 2 out-of-state men are heading to federal prison for dealing heroin in the Charleston area. Effective immediately, you can no longer vape in public places like restaurants and stores. Former Miss Kentucky and Kanawha County school teacher Ramsey Bethann Burse faces sentencing today. Switching gears here, there are new details on another suspicious death at the VA Medical Center in Clarksburg. A Marshall University researcher is trying to find out if the flavors in e-cigarettes contribute to nicotine addiction. Biochemical researcher Skylar Cooper received a $50,000 grant. It's the Boys Club again today.
Yes, it is.
3 dudes in suits. And Marilee, you know what they say, everything is bigger in Texas, and now that's true even for candy. Gotta say, Snickers is my favorite candy bar.
So mine too.
I wonder how long that would last me, because I'm eating those every day. Mars says this world record is a tease to the Snickers Super Bowl commercial. The plant says they'll chop up their giant candy and send pieces of it to other Mars factories. Lawyers for President Donald Trump are expected to wrap up their opening arguments in his impeachment trial today. This means senators could begin asking questions. One that remains unanswered, whether former National Security Advisor John Bolton will testify. And now to a story we've been following since the very beginning that ended in the death of a 2-month-old. A Scioto County Children's Services caseworker testified in the Jessica and Daniel Groves murder trial. The Ohio Department of Health is testing 2 Miami University students for possible coronavirus exposure. In the Mountain State, authorities have identified the man that died after he was hit by a vehicle on Elk River Road in Clendenin late last night. The sports world is mourning the sudden and shocking death of NBA legend Kobe Bryant. The driver of a Kanawha County special needs school bus faces DUI charges for her involvement in a 4-vehicle crash on I-77. Susan Lipcomb faces 3 counts of DUI causing injury and 1 count of DUI with a minor in a vehicle. 2 of the 6 children on the bus and the driver of one of the other vehicles involved had to be transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. Now, it's not often that we get to report positive news in relation to the opioid crisis, but Lawrence County, Ohio is showing progress. In Southern California, a woman embraces a rescuer after a very close call there.
Wow.
We need to warn you, some of the details from this morning's testimony are graphic in nature. The Ironton City Council called an emergency meeting last night to address the city's wastewater treatment plant. And Jack, he's got a Purple Heart. Now he just wants Valentine's hearts. 104-year-old Major Bill White has been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and gratitude from people around the world. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. It's finally Friday. We have made it to the weekend.
You have made it to the weekend.
Well, the Grammys may have dominated the weekend entertainment-wise, but they were far from the only awards given out in Tinseltown this weekend. In the Buckeye State, Ohio's Attorney General has approved the next step for a state constitutional amendment to raise the minimum wage. Attorney General David Yost determined a petition's 1,000 signatures are valid. Kanawha County is now the first in West Virginia to allow county employees to receive up to 12 weeks of paid family leave. Commissioners voted unanimously last night to give employees the extended paid time off following the birth or adoption of a child, or when a family member is suffering from a serious illness. The policy takes effect immediately. President Trump's legal team returns to Capitol Hill to deliver their second day of opening arguments in his impeachment trial. Democrats are demanding new witnesses testify, and that includes hearing from John Bolton. Massachusetts police say an Amber Alert and sharp-eyed motorist helped police find the suspected kidnapper just hours later. Every time I fill in for either Jack or Marilee, it's always clouds and rain.
Well, you're doing good so far. Keeping the streak steady.
So far, yeah.
The streak continues. Yes.
Yes.
The so-called Students' Right to Know Act, which would require the Education Board to compile an annual report of the state's most sought-after jobs, entry-level salaries, and common degree requirements. Before we go, an extreme home makeover in a posh, or as I would say, bougie, Florida neighborhood left locals confused. Today, federal investigators will be at the scene of a deadly plane crash in northern West Virginia. The small 1-seat airplane went down and burst into flames around 1 yesterday afternoon. The U.S. is preparing to evacuate Americans from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the coronavirus. 2 Kanawha County deputies involved in a deadly officer-involved shooting in Cross Lanes on New Year's Eve have been cleared of any wrongdoing. In Kentucky, House Republican leaders have introduced sweeping legislation aimed at shifting more people off public assistance and into the workforce. Also in the Bluegrass State, the Kentucky Senate has approved a bill to require doctors and other health workers to provide life-sustaining care for an infant born alive after a failed abortion attempt. Their chopper went down in foggy weather on Sunday, and now investigators are beginning to look into what went wrong. All right, let's talk sports. The Marshall men's basketball team's season of highs and lows continued in Huntington last night. Switching gears here, the city of Dunbar is running into opposition as it tries to enact a new panhandling ordinance. Swedish researchers played fetch with 3 litters of 8-week-old wolf puppies to see if they would respond to humans. The first 2 groups had no interest in chasing the ball. A West Virginia man convicted of filming an infant being sexually assaulted will likely spend the rest of his life in prison when he's sentenced in March. In Ohio, lawmakers have introduced a bill to create a database of individuals convicted of trying to buy sex. Supporters say the legislation, backed by Attorney General David Yost, is aimed at exposing traffickers who sell women. A new report warns about a big increase in data breaches affecting tens of millions of Americans. It's sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection's Rehabilitation Environmental Action Plan. Say that 3 times. Try it. The cleanup takes place during the first. The goal is to save homeowners money, but there are concerns that could come at the expense of public safety. U.S. prosecutors say Britain's Prince Andrew has provided zero cooperation in their investigation into the late Jeffrey Epstein. That comes despite a statement from the royal last fall saying he's willing to help. A man is dead after he was hit by a vehicle on Elk River Road in Clendenin late last night. Another deadly crash happened just a few miles away on I-79 southbound near Big Chimneys.
That was a cool behind-the-scenes look at making those guitars. Neat stuff.
I used to play guitar, did you know that?
Did you?
Yeah.
I know now.
I mean, I still can, but I just don't anymore.
I used to play bass guitar.
Really?
Far back, way back.
We'll have to get together and do a
Rock out.
So clouds, I asked you before the show, is there anything to do on a cloudy day? So I Googled it during the break, and here are the top 3, okay? Make your own bubble bath, have an indoor treasure hunt, or my favorite, camp in the great indoors. So that, I think, is lingo for a nap.
That's exactly what
You
it is.
can't.
Smart devices are taking over our homes, so why not let them take over the bathroom?
Oh boy, here we go. Kohler showed off its Numi 2.0 intelligent toilet at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas on Wednesday. You can sit down on a heated seat, get some personalized cleansing and drying, I'm gonna guess like a bidet, and even listening to your favorite music through its high quality built-in speakers. So if you'd like to just chill while answering the call of nature, the smart toilet also has some ambient lighting as you're seeing there on your screen. I don't even know how I feel about this.